with Jen and Paul. And amongst other things that we've been doing today for, our 100th show, we have a very special guest coming in just a few minutes.
That's right.
Now, his name is Paul Morin. He's everything from a painter to a sculptor to a musician, and he has many books out that we're going to explore, and we're going to ask him tons of questions about it.
That's cool. He's going to come and hang out with us right here in the B-Zone. This is a special guest for a special day. Your timing is good.
Paul, good morning.
Hi,
Welcome
good morning.
to the
How are
Breakfast
you?
Zone.
I'm doing great.
Good.
Have a seat and join us.
This is fantastic.
Yes, this is very exciting for us.
And for me as well.
Oh, good. Okay, Paul, you have many different books out. And your books are different from other books that we see on the shelves because of the illustrations that you do.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about why your illustrations are different from most children's books.
Well, I usually approach most of my art from perhaps more of a fine art end, and I experience the cultures that, in this particular case, the mud family, that's based on the Anasazi culture from the Southwest. So for each project, I'll travel to the place and actually live there for a few months to really absorb the culture, and consequently, it's really enlarged my music collection because I always pick up instruments from my travels. Also recently, I've just released a tape of The Dragon's Pearl, which is a Chinese book that I had done a couple years ago, and this is music to sort of complement it. Again, using all Chinese instruments that I bought when I was in China traveling around doing research.
Now, The Dragon's Pearl, that's China. Like, can we have a look at
Yeah,
that maybe?
yeah.
See if I can find a picture in
Oh,
here
there's
to
some
show you.
gorgeous work in there.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Transformation is the name of it. This little boy becomes a dragon by eating a pearl in the story. It's a great story and traditional, very old Chinese story.
Are all of the stories that you illustrate for, are they all traditional stories from different places around the world? Or do you
Not necessarily traditional stories. Many of them have been. The Orphan Boy, which is a Maasai story. This is what really started me into this area. So I'm really interested in what we consider primitive cultures or third world, although I never consider them very primitive. But that one really began my sort of journey towards doing folk tales, mythology, and that's primarily my focus. I've done a couple of other books that are linked more to dream time than to ancient times, but I really like bringing the ancient to the contemporary. It's an interesting fusion, both musically and through my art.
Yeah, it is wonderful to use our imagination and to dream up things that maybe are fairy tale like, but it also is really important to think or remember or learn things about the past and history.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And too often we almost forget about the way that traditional peoples feel about the earth, for instance, which is so important in this day and age when we think of how much damage we've done to the environment. And there's so much that can be learned from traditional peoples, I think, globally, and it's really important. And I do think that these books have the possibility of, particularly with a young audience, of exposing them to a culture that they might have been prejudiced or judgmental about prior to even understanding them. So I like the fact that these books kind of slip in a good plug for these cultures themselves.
Now, that's something that you said about the primitive cultures. Maybe they're not so primitive,
Exactly.
and a lot of people don't know a lot about them. Now, when you go to these different areas of the world, how do you manage to kind of to fit in? You must be very open-minded.
Yeah, and I travel very well. Actually, I travel with a lot of. I do digital video equipment, digital recording equipment, because I'm always taking location recordings and images while I'm traveling and doing research. But generally, it's just a backpack. There's very little pre-planning I can do, so I almost have to be in the country for a month to get the feel of it and to get some contact with friends and meet people, essentially. But anywhere I've been, I've never had a barrier there. Even linguistically, if I can't speak the language, I'll usually have a phrase book, but I'm always able to sort of get by. And I guess it's just luck by the seat of my pants. And I usually travel independently, which is a good attraction for people to approach you when you're just on your own.
That must make everything very real for you when you do it. You're not just kind of learning a little bit, you're actually experiencing what you're creating. And can we take a look at one of your paintings?
Sure, I'd love to.
Tell us a little bit about this painting that you did. What does that represent?
Well, it's from a new book that's coming out this summer called The Ghost Dance. And essentially what this is showing the ancestors. So in the circles, we're seeing symbols that various traditional peoples have done that is a symbol of the unity within the nation. And the circle is very important with all native cultures. I've also augmented it by showing a sort of a satellite of the earth from a distance, and we see the ancestors dropping off.
Wow.
It was just an important device at this point in the book where the story appears. Like I say, this book won't be out until August of this summer. So we're a couple months early. You're getting a preview.
A preview. We'll keep our eyes open to see the
Wow.
rest of the illustrations and the paintings.
What is it that attracts you to a specific place in the world or a specific culture?
Well, in the case of the books, like I do a lot of traveling independently, not related to books. But
Right.
when it's the books, it's usually the manuscript that first really links me in. And I've been an avid National Geographic reader since I was a child. So I usually do my next trip shopping through National Geographic until I see a shot that I like. I want to go there. But so it's a myriad of things. But primarily, it's in the books, it's the manuscripts that turn me on to the culture. And then from that, I start doing research. You know, and most of the books take me about a year to do. So it's 6 months of research and then 6 months of painting generally. So it's a big commitment. And they end up being a big chunk of my life is spent doing this. So. It's fun though. I really like it, and it's exposed me to great things such as this.
Right. Well, not only are you painting and sculpting, but you said that when you travel, you actually find and take home with you different types of instruments.
Yeah, I collect instruments from all over the place, and that's actually led me to an interesting connection in that I met some people by the name of Rhythm Garden, and they also collect and create instruments on their own using found objects, and it's been a really neat coming together that I hadn't anticipated, but is happening. So music has become a large part of my life.
Do you think maybe we could get a bit of a sample of the music that you create with
I would love that.
All right.
Head over?
Yes,
So you're going to
please,
join
Paul.
Rhythm Garden.
Yes,
And
yes.
we'll come over and join you.
Okay, this is Karen Bell and Robin Hume.
Robin Hume. And they're actually called Rhythm Garden.
That's right.
With Paul Morin.
Okay.
Look at these instruments.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Can we come in and sit on the mat with you?
Come on
Karen, Paul, this is. Can we sit here and be amongst this?
Please,
This is amazing.
Grab something.
All right, welcome back. And this is a really special time because we're here with Paul Morin, and we're actually listening to wonderful sounds of instruments from right around the world. And you, Karen and Robin, you make your own instruments. Yes, that is unbelievable. What do you mostly make your instruments out of?
A lot of found things is our main interest.
Things that you find?
Yeah, so for instance, these rings that make these beautiful sounds are actually discards from a factory, so they're old ball bearings.
Wow.
Really?
And
So something that might be thrown out
That's
that you've
right,
made into
yes.
music.
And some of these things that we play also, this is like old farm equipment. which also have a very nice sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there's something that I got to tell you I love. Where? I think it's right here.
I know what it is.
Is this the rain stick? You gotta listen
Yes.
to this. Can you hear that?
Now,
The
where
mic
is
there?
this originally from, the rain stick?
They would be found anywhere from the southwest United States all the way through to Central America, and traditionally they would be used to bring the rain. So they're a very, very ancient instrument, and basically it's just a hollow cactus tube, and they stick the spines of the cactus in with desert pebbles, and it's the sound of the pebbles hitting the spines that makes the sound.
It's a real, I don't know if the sound's transferring across well, but if you ever get a chance to listen to one in person, it's really a great sound.
Or next time it's raining, just open your window. And
What are some other instruments? Karen, what do you have back there that you're using?
I have a marimba, actually, which is from
Guinea in West Africa.
in West Africa. And what's very interesting about this is that underneath, there's all these little, they're gourds, actually. And what they are is they are used as resonators so that the sound is made loud. And as well, if you'll notice, there's little papers over small holes which allow the sound to vibrate. The paper will vibrate, and that causes the sound to vibrate.
So there's a little buzz in
Wow.
the
Buzz to
sound.
the
Oh.
playing.
Now you said something about these concerts sometimes going on for 24 hours.
Well, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but frequently, like our pieces have no beginning or end. So when we're rehearsing, it's apt to last an hour and a half or 5 minutes. You never know until the piece has materialized itself.
Have you got all night?
Yeah, I can listen to this all night. The thing that's so interesting is that if you look around on this blanketed area, every single instrument is made out of like bamboo or a type of wood or a leather, and the only thing that's actually electronic is a synthesizer.
Thing that Paul's behind.
No, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, it's beautiful to know that you can make your own instruments, and this is how really it all began.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to put the address up for you and tell you where you can write in. Maybe you can ask some questions about Paul. We'll have lots of information on you for that, and you can tell us about the instruments you play. The address is the Breakfast Zone. Okay, now this is our 100th show. You're here for our 100th show.
I'm privileged to be here.
Oh man,
We are very,
privileged.
we
Yes,
are
this
very
is our
privileged,
honor.
yes, that you can share this day with us, and we have some wonderful music to listen to.
And oh, here comes the party man. Oh, here comes the party man.
Happy 100th anniversary show!
Bobby!
I got a little bit of a cake,
Got some-
and I got some funny hats for everybody.
All right.
Hi guys, I'm loving your music.
Oh, hold on. Rhythm guard. There you go, Paul.
Oh, here, you can play this.
Okay, that's more
Rhythm garden over here.
There's some
Jen, if you
music,
like that.
Okay. we've
Paul,
got
would you like one of these?
I would love one.
I bet, see, you didn't have one of those in your collection, so we figured we'd give you one of those.
I've traveled to many.
Many places. This is the quality you get at the Breakfast Zone. It doesn't even work.
Wow. It's the Breakfast Zone type of music or instrument, I guess.
No, okay.
Confetti.
There's stuff too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And a fish too.
So can we all have some cake, Bobby?
yeah. Oh, I guess I forgot the knife and fork, but we can look at it for a while.
We all know what Bobby's going to do. Bobby likes to eat with his hands and put most of it all over his face, so it will be interesting, most likely.
There you
That's
go.
not bad.
It's not an eating utensil, but what's the height of this here on the drum?
These are cow hides. I picked this up in Kenya.
Really?
Kenya and Tanzania. The big one's from Tanzania, smaller one from Kenya when I was doing research for one of the books.
Really?
Yeah, so they're Maasai cows.
Wow. How many countries have you been to?
Ooh, probably in the neighborhood of 27 to 30. I never count. Many.
Wow.
I've been to every continent.
That's
and
incredible.
ask me in about 10 years and it'll just be that many more.
And do you have a favorite, Paul, of all the places that you visited?
Right now I'm focusing on Asia, so I've made a few trips to Asia, and this fall I'll be going to Australia and back to Asia as well.
And
so
in-
China.
Okay. And in August you have a brand new book coming out, and what's it called again?
The Ghost Dance.
The Ghost Dance.
Great book by Stoddard.
All right. Paul, thank you very much for coming in. Karen and Robin,
Rhythm
beautiful
Garden.
music. Rhythm
Yes.
Garden, yes.
Thanks.
Let's give it a go.
All
Thank
right.
you.
This is our 100th show. Thanks for watching.
Have a good weekend.
All right. We'll see you on Monday.